Okay, welcome back, everybody.
Okay, so are we filming again, Alfred?
Yes.
And so greetings to everybody who tuned in before for the first part. This is the second part, and we're basically trying to establish why it is that we as melanated people have come from, have experienced so much evil and brutality, and it's time to change that. This is a press conference about changing that. We're back with Cezanne, the painter and artist, poet, and we have Sophia Stewart of the Matrix, and we have Matrix and Terminator, I should say, and we also have Kemet, Imani of Stop the Silence, and we have Wadada, musician from the UK, a jazz musician from the UK, who's joining Alfred and myself, and we're looking at the whole issue of racism, institutional racism, of a royal, majestic people, and we know that the time has come for this to be terminated. These racist policies have to be terminated. So I wanted to show you something in relation. I think you actually sent it to me. I'm going to share the screen, everyone, and I'm going to ask your opinion of what you think about this particular image. Oops, I don't know what that is. Somebody's posted that to me. I have to get rid of, sorry, 1 second, let me just, somebody's just sent me this, but we broke this down already. It's post-lockdown and the plan. Now, if you look at this whole mask situation, we know that this has been done as a means to silence us. And I read it, it says, during slavery.
Seven. The image is not showing. We just have a blank screen.
Okay. It's still not showing.
Yeah, you better come out of the share screen and then open that image and then go to the image.
Okay, I'm sorry. Apologies. It's just going round, Alfred. There is a bit of an issue. I might have to.
You need to do your mic. Mute your mic, Wadada. COVID. Wadada. Mute your mic.
Kemet, I think that
Hi, Alfred.
Seven dropped off. Do you want to carry the program until she comes back?
Yeah, no worries. Sister Sophia dropped off as well.
Yes, there.
We
have.
I did, first and foremost. I don't know if Cezanne and Wadada has anything to say based on what's been said so far.
I did have, but you can talk first. because I have to remember what it was. Can you hear me?
Wadada, yes. Do you have anything to say?
Go ahead, Kemet. Kemet?
I was trying to press the unmute and it wouldn't unmute for some reason. Sorry. I can't remember where we got up to. And the last bit was, what was he talking about? Seventh was going to share something, wasn't she?
Yeah,
And
I think
it's
that
about
Seven was going to show an image. Oh, here's Sophia. Seven was going to show an image that we shared that showed masks that were used in the slave period in the South in the United States that looked like the masks that are being used now in the COVID-19. And there were masks that were used to slaves that tried to speak up, and they were used to impress on that slave to put them back into discipline. And so she was going to make a point around that particular mask.
I think that's the same thing what's going on now. The mask, what they want everyone to wear is to silence us. I really
That's what I
believe that. Because I don't know how many of you that wear the mask, but I've tried one on. I had to go somewhere and I had to have the mask on. And I just couldn't breathe. I didn't even want to speak with it on. It was that bad. So I think it is a silencer, and I think the ones what they used in the slave trade was very much the same, looks the same, but it was made out of metal. If that's the one
yes.
that it's going to show. So I think and I think well, this whole thing is to enslave us, but I don't want to hog the forum. So if Sister Sophia, do you want to continue, please?
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, great. What was the question?
What do you think about the mask wearing and so forth? We haven't got Sevens at the moment. I think
Well, the mask and the 6 feet apart is procreation. Like I told you in the beginning, they do not want you to procreate. It's all about God's children versus the machines. The machines are limited. They have genocided themselves out with abortions and sterilization, and it's time for them to leave. And that's what's going on. And they want to take as many as they can with them. There's no black or white. There is no races. Just in the Matrix. All these are just lies, illusions, and ignorance. That's all it is. It's to separate and to divide and to distract. Because if you're focused on a lot of the subjects and things that you guys are talking about right now, if you stay focused on that, you won't see the truth. Evil have infiltrated the police department. Evil have infiltrated the judges' robes, and evil it's simply what God and Jesus were saying all along, because there was a black Jesus. The Pope bowed down to the black Jesus and the black Madonna. I can send you pictures of it. So if it didn't exist, there would be no need to convince you.
Exactly.
So all of this is just a bunch of illusions that are created to keep you from seeing the truth. Because see, if they try to hide the truth from you, you'll find it. So they put it right in your face. Right in your face is the truth. You're staring at it, but you don't want to accept it. Just like like I said, when the disciples ran upon Jesus and they asked him questions, and he said it was all about evil and good. He said, if your people is of truth, if you're of truth, then your people are of the truth. And if your people are of evil and you're evil, that's who your people are. But if you separate yourself with these colors and these labels and all of these, all these lies, then you're missing the point. Because good and evil is inside of everybody. Your cover of your skin doesn't make you good or evil. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's true.
There are no white people. That's a euphemism of superiority that's put in your mind to make you think that that exists. It doesn't exist. None of it. If you start analyzing the lies and the ignorance and the distractions, you'll see that you're getting further and further away from the truth. When you start pulling and dividing yourself and going to a side, there is no side unless you're joining good or evil. Because good and evil is commingling. That's what's going on. It's commingling out here. You look at the people who are marching for peace, and then there's the looters, and there's the dissenters, and there's the people who are put there to tear down, destroy. There's people who have companies and buildings and product, and they know they're never going to make any money. They need it to be burnt up. They need so they can get more money off of insurance money than they can stimulus money. It's the same thing that happened when I was growing up in New York City. The owners would burn up, the slumlords would burn up their buildings, sometimes with people in them, just so they can recreate another business, so they can get a whole nother life. They're making money off of evil. That's how they make money. If there was peace and love, they couldn't make any money. That's how everything would cease. It would end. But as long as they can keep you going and going up against or pitting against your brothers or your sisters or man or good or evil, if they can keep you going up against each other, they can keep making money. Because there are some things that it needs to be put in the hands of God. There's nothing you can do about it. It's such evil that goes beyond you. And that you just have to cut that off and leave it alone, because it ain't your business. There's nothing you can do about it. You've reached your limit. You can only do what you can do at a certain level and let everything else go and let it be taken care of in greater hands. Because social distancing means that you won't fall in love. You won't procreate. You're wearing a mask, you can't kiss. If you think somebody's going to give you a disease and kill you, then you're going to hate. This is going to be more and more war, and that's what they want. That's what they're striving for.
It is a war.
Is a war. That's all. A race war. A race war. But they're going to make money off of it. As many people that die, they're going to make money off of it. Killing, tearing down, destructions, they're going to make money. And that's where they're headed. Because every time you look at the news, that's where they're headed. And if you think that these people are on your side, these Soros and Queen of England and all these people, they're part of the problem, not the solution. Epstein's friends, all these people, Clintons and all of those people that's involved with Epstein, and the madam that's right now telling on a lot of them, they're not there for you. Bill Gates, all these people, they're not there for you. They're there to harvest you, to make money off of you. They make money off of death. They're death merchants. You need to learn the truth and stop being distracted. Because if you're distracted and you're too busy looking at everything else, you won't see the truth that's right in front of you, staring at you.
Yeah.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the system that they set up to keep us Black people down, which they developed during slavery, and I don't know if any of you read the Willy Lynch letter. So they devised this system which would automatically keep being passed down from one generation to the next, and it was guaranteed to work or to last for 400 years. And they said the only way that it would stop is if the Black woman stopped passing it down to the next generation. So literally, they know their time is up. This is why I really don't worry about what's going on in the world right now. Their time is up. And it's just time for us to remember who we are and to reclaim our rightful position. So all of this is to just divert our attention from what we need to be focusing on right now, which is to just remember who we are and reclaim our rightful position. And that is exactly what I'm doing. So I really just haven't been paying any of this any mind. I've just been focused on going within, and creating heaven on earth, which is exactly what we should all be doing right now. Because we're coming out of this age of Pisces and we're going into the age of Aquarius, which is the golden age. It's a time when our thoughts are going to just manifest so quickly. So if we allow them to manipulate our minds to create what they want, then we're not going to create heaven on earth, we're going to create hell on earth. So the message I would like to just leave is for us all to focus on going within and creating our own little version of heaven on earth. And if everybody was doing that on the planet, can you imagine? If everybody was in their little bubble like I am, of, you know, creating what you want to manifest, your little version of heaven on earth, if we were all doing that, we would have heaven on earth.
Exactly.
So that is what we should be doing, and not allowing them to manipulate our minds and manipulate our emotions, because they own all the media. They control what they want us to see. So unless you control what you allow into your consciousness through your eyes, through your ears, then you'll be creating what they want. So over 400 years is up and they know it.
100%. I want to welcome on board Galactic Clyde. Hi, I was waiting for you earlier, but Sister Seven, I think they've locked her out the system at the moment. So I don't know if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you. Please, Galactic Clyde. Okay, Sister Sophia, it's over to you then, not unless someone else has got something to say.
I'll just say something about the Maat. Oh, sorry. Oh, there's Galactic.
Greetings.
Greetings,
Greetings, Galactic.
Did you hear?
Yeah, I'm just coming to. I could hear you loud and clear. The video coming to just now. Just give me a minute.
Sure.
Just give me a minute. I'm in.
Great.
Yes. Okay.
Greetings.
Hey.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Sister Seven's got locked out the whole network for some reason or the other. You know, they're always messing with her anyway.
Yeah, I just speak to her, so she gave me the link because I didn't have the link before.
Okay.
There's some issues with the link.
Okay.
It's always some issues, but we're getting there. Okay, where do I start? Oh, Galactic Light. Who's Galactic Light? Galactic Light, I wear many hats. I'm actually into the metaphysics, into the astrology, connecting the dots, you know, in terms of the cycles. Galactic, deal with the galactic spin, which talks about all the different cycles of the world as we know it, in connection with the movement of the heavens and where those cycles are regulated within the body. I talk about how you can recognize the cycle in the body. For instance, our head is symbolic of spring. Yes, our head is symbolic of the mountain, which is also symbolic of spring, because the head is ruled under the sign of Aries, and spring happens every year in the sign of Aries. Yes. And so head is the symbol of spring. So spring, the hair on our head represents like the grass in the fields. Yes. And so we are wide awake in that sense, the beginning of the cycle, Aries. Our heart is symbolic of the midday sun. So the morning sun is the head and the midday sun is the heart. That's a cycle in time, and it comes back every year. We have the spring. Sometimes we celebrate in spring in one part of the world, while another part is celebrating fall, and vice versa. But I'll go back to the heart. The heart is summer. The sexual organ is the sign of the fall. It represents fall, or what we call the atom. Yes? And so we got the cycles, and then winter represents from the knee down, which is Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. So the cycles of creation is within the human body. So I talk about the connection of the cycles of time in connection to ourselves. Because some people think astrology is a bit far out because they don't understand how close it is right to our body. All our organs are actually the planets, or are connected with the planets. So I talk about how to understand the connection or the interconnection with the self and the transpersonal self, which is the world we live in, and the heavens. The heavens are us, and us, we are the heavens, as above, so below, as below, so above, as within, so without, as without, so within. So I
So what
connect those
say
kind
you?
of dots in that sense.
Okay, so brother, so what say you? We're talking about ending racism, really, and the whole dynamics of how it has affected us as a people. You know, we're always the people to be put forward for vaccinations, for experimentations. And we, right now, we're in the center of the mainstream media. Most channels are talking about racism and raising the issue. We've had Prince Harry apologizing. We've had the Archbishop of Canterbury saying that the white statues of Jesus have to be pulled down. And so we're talking about, we are in a way ushering in the new paradigm, because obviously it is for us to create the narrative. The reality is that their time is up. We've had brutality, abuse, over and over again. We've had Sister Sophia Stewart explain very, very clearly and candidly. One second, I don't know if you can hear the traffic outside. Sorry, it's very, very noisy. 1 second.
Okay, while we're waiting for
What say you?
7. Okay, you're coming back. Come on.
Could you
I
hear
could hear
me
you loud and clear.
before
I
what
could
I
hear
was
you, but
talking
no,
about?
I don't know for everybody else, but I could hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so did you hear what I was saying in terms of we're
Loud
in
and
the spotlight at the moment as a people? What say you? We have to change the paradigm right now. What say you? How do we end slavery? From your point of view, I mean, you have an insight from an astrological point of view. We've got Uranus that is on Taurus. Uranus is the planet of revolution, and we have Taurus is the planet of the zodiac sign of structures, systems, monetary systems, structures. And so when you put Uranus on top of the structure, it means that that is going to be revolutionized. There's quite a few different planetary positionings to change things. So what say you?
Okay, so when we talk about Uranus, and in connection with Taurus, as you just mentioned, Taurus is the sign that deals with our value system. Yes? And so we're dealing with the planet of revolution in the sign that rules our values. So we're having a revolution in values as we speak. It's also values, it's also what we apply to currencies. What we value, we work towards. And what we work towards becomes our career. What I just explained is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Value, work, and
Earth
career.
signs.
That's the earth sign trinity. Yes, so what we value, we work towards, and what we work towards becomes our career. However, this is where you talk about slavery. There's some things that are out of value, which, you know, we have what is called in the universal scheme of things, we got the laws of cause and effect, effects and cause. Every cause have an effect, and every effect have a cause. It's one in the other, is hands and gloves. So we know that the cause that slavery is an effect that is based on a cause, but the effect itself is also have a cause, and the cause have an effect. So when we talk about reparation, when we're talking about ending the value system that was so out of whack because it don't value people, it value resource over people. We said that is wrong, that is outdated, that is not the right way for living. And when people, you know, slavery was based on brutality, brutalizing people in order to get the essence from them to build up a kingdom that is never going to be built on the laws of Maat, but actually Isfit. Isfit is the negative side of Maat. So the Isfit, the kingdom of Isfit, or it's not the right kingdom in terms of liberty. but it's something that we are addressing in terms of seeking redress for the wrongs that done throughout history, so that we can come back to balance, come back to rightness, and be whole. So reparation is not just a one-side thing; it's both sides. Because even though we says, okay, we want them to make amends, we want others to recommend, we want others to realize what they have done, and therefore sort out or help in rebuilding the situation, it's also that they also should understand it's important they do it based on the laws of reciprocity. Because if they kick the ball down the road, and then it's the next generation or their children, that's what we're suffering, because it have to be redressed, because everything have to be balanced. Our ancestors go so far to realize that with nature, when they cut a plant or when they take of nature, they also give back through praise, through worship, through ceremonies, through songs, through dance. And this is where the drum was created, because the drum connects the animal world with the plant world as a rhythm to give back to the energies that we're taken from, whether to plant kingdom or the animal kingdom. So when we play the drum as the heart, is to balance the situation between both worlds. What are we doing to balance the atrocities, the over the years atrocities that has taken place for people of the world, you know, in general? That itself is something that have to be redressed. Just like any law, any court, when we go and we listen to what happened listen to the side of the victim, and okay, who have so much money that they can pay either the or bribe or the judge or whatever, it's still on the universal schemes of things, we have to be still balanced in the right way.
That's right.
Yeah?
That's right. So basically what we're talking about, when you say Maat, can you explain for the audience that doesn't understand what the principles of Maat, I mean, we know it as the 42 negative confessions, whereby the Bible is based on, the Bible takes its 10 commandments from the 42 negative confessions of the Maat. So can you just speak a little bit about the principles of Maat? Can you put your mic on? Sorry.
Just feedbacks in the room. Maat is about balance. It's universal equilibrium. It's balance. It's the symbolized in astrology and the lower scale or the lower plane. It represents Maat in that sense. It represents justice. It represents reciprocity. It represents, well, it represents balance on all levels. Yeah.
Okay.
So Maat itself is considered the goddess of justice, while Itzvit is injustice, negativity. Right. And so we always have to balance between both worlds, because just like how the world have the light and dark, yeah, we have also good and evil. Yes, just like how you got creatures that comes out in the night that do certain things in the night, you got creatures of the day that represents the understanding of the energies of the day. Sometimes we get confused between that understanding, but the ancient says all the cycles of the universe are just like the cycles of man. So just like we have the child, the youth, the adult, and the old age, we have that within the cycle and the ancestry.
Okay.
So ancient realized the connection between the low cycle and the high cycle, and all the cycles are interlinked under a system of what is called Maat, which is the most balancing or the most righteous or the most uprightness in life in that sense.
Absolutely. I would recommend that everybody listening do research Maat, M-A-A-T, principles of justice, balance, equality, everything is under the laws of Maat. And so would you say, I mean, when we look at it from that perspective, we can see that the leadership that is running positions of power is at a very low frequency. There seems to lack wisdom, lack consciousness in terms of how they're delivering, You know, I want to ask Cezanne as well, because Cezanne, when I spoke to you about the whole COVID situation, you said, I'm not even listening about that. I'm creating my reality right now. I'm creating what I want to experience. And how important is that in terms of this paradigm? Because to me, it appears that everything is coming down. What say you, Cezanne? Put your mic on, Cezanne. I just want to speak to that and then come back to you, Brother Clyde.
Yes, these powers that be not base everything on astrology. You know, this whole COVID thing kicked off at the spring equinox, and we just had the portal, the summer solstice with the solar eclipse. That was a huge cosmic event. And I just focused on jumping through the portal, you know, and then now we've just had another full moon and a solar eclipse, you know, and I've just been really focused on, I kind of feel like they had intended at that huge cosmic event to bring in their new world order, but they weren't able to because too many people were waking up, you know, like the humanity is just waking up, you know, like the DNA is just upgrading really fast, you know, even the whole thing with veganism, that's the human, you know, the human race are just evolving really quickly. So this plan that they've had, if they could have done it without us, they would have done it ages ago, but they need our mass consciousness in order to create this new world order.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
They have not been able to pull it off. You know, even this whole thing with the vaccines, you know, they planned this, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, they had planned to, you know, they've invested a lot of money in these vaccines and they wanted to get their money back. And their plan is to reduce the population, get rid of as many black people as possible. But they're never going to be able to pull this off. We are the gods of the earth. They need us. You know, I really don't even know what they think they're doing, because I wonder how many organs of black people they have in their bodies, you know. You know, they need us to survive. So really and truly, it's just not bothered me at all what these people are, because they're not going to be able to pull it off, whatever it is they're trying. So it's down to us to just focus on what we want to create rather than what they're putting out through the media. You know?
So do you see the system as not defunct, null and void at this point, from your point of view?
Well, it's definitely crumbling really fast. You know, like I said, we're going into this new age of Aquarius, and in this new age of Aquarius, we're going to be governing ourselves. Religions are going to go, and it's already crumbling. Religions are going to go, governments are going to go, the monarchy is going to go. We are going to reclaim our rightful positions on this planet. So that is all I'm focused on. You know?
Beautifully said, beautifully said. Wadada, can you hear that? Wadada, are you still with us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, what say you? Do you still acknowledge the system, or what say you in regards to, because I want to come back to Brother Clyde to talk about, you know, from what we can see, because obviously everything takes place in the spirit, and there's also prophecies that are currently in effect right now as well, in terms of we know that the 1619 was the beginning of the slave trading of the Israelites, which is basically us, the melanated people. And so they said we would be in bondage for 400 years. We know that ended in last year in 2019. But on the cosmic planet, we're seeing things manifest on the physical, because everything starts in the spiritual world and then it manifests in the physical world. So from your point of view, Wadada, what do you see yourself? Do you no longer acknowledge the system? What say you?
You know what?
Can you come into the camera, because half of your face is...
Yeah. Okay, yeah. A little bit. All right, yeah. What I see basically for years now, I've just been kind of more or less working on myself, and I do believe that the more I do that, is the more things get to change, and I get to know exactly what's happening. And like how I said before, I really do feel that we've just got to start promoting the love now. You know, we know what's going on. We have been for a very long time. And basically, one of the ways out to get rid of certain negativities, just really to start showing love and just putting it on ourselves and changing, going to work on that. You know, stop working on helping this system to have the power over us. To be honest with you, I'm kind of tired of it.
Absolutely.
I'm
I
tired
think
of it,
everybody
you
is.
know.
So do you think this is the time for people to pull their children out of the schools, stop feeding this, to starve the system, just stop feeding it completely, pull your children out of the schools, start running your own thing? What say you, Wadada?
Yes, pull straight up, pull them out of the school, start teaching your children, you know, start looking after your body, and start, as I said, action. When someone actually see that you're actually doing too much of the talking, go to work on it. And people, you know, like they say, a picture speaks 1,000 messages, yeah? Right? And just start working ourselves. We say we love one another, start working on it. Absolutely. We can say that we're gods until we actually start really putting them things into action. That's when people are going to really know who we are. You know what I mean? But soon we start ignoring them things, what's happening, you know, and kind of come together, then people are going to recognize, you know?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Very
So
important.
before I come back to, because I have some great questions for you, Brother Clyde. I've wanted to have you on the panel for such a long time because your wisdom is out of this world. I don't know if you've given them a knowledge of what you do and who he's a herbalist, he's an astrologer, he's not called Galactic Clyde for nothing, put it that way. So I want to ask my sister Kemet just to share her view on basically pulling away from the system, because we're feeding this system. People are they're saying, oh, people have to send their children back. We know that we came into this system by way of, you know, being duped. Our parents were duped into giving over a birth certificate. You know, they've been trading us on the stock exchange every year. You know, basically by stealth, they've been stealing from us from ever. And because of the fact that, because of this injustice that they did with the straw man, stealing of our identities, you know, basically, we got sold into the system by way of the birth certificate. We know this. So the fact that we even are not up in arms, that the only reason why, because every single one of us should be able to be on this land and do what we came here to do. We shouldn't be party to the vaccination. When they say, oh, we're going to vaccinate everybody by Christmas, what has that got to do with them, us? What they make their plans. What have their plans got to do with anybody else? Why are we stuck into this barbaric system? It's because of the birth certificate. Because at our birth, our parents signed us over to the state, and we didn't realize that. And basically, that is how we have to emancipate ourselves. I know that a lot of people are talking about claiming back your straw man. You know, claiming, and anybody who doesn't understand the term straw man, you have your physical person and then you have your paper identity. So you're out of your birth certificate is how they generate all the bills, all the taxes, all the payments that they have you to pay for the rest of your life comes from this birth certificate. You know, there was a story whereby they came and took this family's children, and one of those children wasn't registered to the state. So they brought it back. They said, oh, this one doesn't belong to us. So essentially, they think that we are their property. So would you say that this is the time that we need to make it very, very known? They need to recompense for slavery, reparations for slavery. They need to pay me personally for my stolen intellectual property, and they need to pay all creators that have had their intellectual property stolen. They need to return the stolen artifacts that they've stolen. All of the museums in the UK are full of stolen artifacts. We have just got used to these people's bad habits and bad ways, and it's time for us to step up and not acquiesce with it anymore. What say you, Sister Kemet?
I totally agree with you, and it's not even just a monetary amount, but it's the whole, in terms of reparations, even with yourself, Sister Sevens, it's the whole repair, you know, because we really do suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome based on slavery. That's within our DNA. We think, well, it was just 100 years ago, it doesn't affect me, but it does. It's embedded in the trauma. Is embedded in our DNA. And it's happening now as well. And we're still, just like how all these other races benefit from the slave trade in terms of, you know, the amount of money, what they're gaining from it, the likes of Cameron and all of them. It's the same way we're suffering, you understand, from being enslaved Africans. So even you, with your intellectual property and how they've made millions and billions and trillions of money out of your work, it's unjust, it's inhumane, it's criminal, it's wickedness, and we have to do something about it, because we know all these things are happening. We know, like yourself, Cezanne, Sister Natalie, and there's loads
Sophia
more.
Stewart, of course.
Yeah, Sister Sophia Stewart. But what do we do about it? We talk. We do nothing about it.
And this is what we have to change. Absolutely. This is what we have to change.
That's why they get away with it.
Absolutely. Now, there's something called the Gangmasters license, which is basic. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay, it's the modern slave trading license. So basically, if somebody wants to slave trade you, they go to the government and they get something called a Gangmasters license. And the UK government, these criminal mob bosses, they pay the government a certain amount of money for each person that they want to enslave, target, abuse, and the UK government accepts money and gives that person impunity. So basically they never get punished. So the person can get terrorized, abused, trafficked, and everybody in the system will turn the other way and keep a completely blind eye to it. And that's the modern way of slave trading in the UK. It's called a Gangmasters license. This license needs to be highlighted in the same way we have that badge where they're stepping on the black man. We also have to highlight that they have a Gangmasters license whereby they are slave trading our people. So I want to come to you, Brother Clyde, now, because I have a million questions for you. This brother, oh wow! I mean, Alfred, do you want to ask? Do you want to ask anything at this stage, Alfred? Alfred, you have to.
Yeah. Sorry. No, I'm watching the flow. I'd like to come back at the end with some concrete proposals around monarchy and around some of the legalities and around a demand for a legal inquiry that will begin to bring legal standing to these issues. That's sort of my approach to this.
Thank you. I want to also flag up, today is the anniversary, 15-year anniversary of 7/7 atrocities, which whereby basically it was another false flag operation which was engineered. That was another mighty cover-up, and we've seen 15 years and justice has never been done. And so I want to also pay homage to everybody who suffered in the 7/7 bombings, all the families that were involved. My heart goes with you. As we know who was behind it exactly, and we want those kind of atrocities to also be redressed, because we have cover up after cover up after cover up in the UK with nothing to be done about it. So I want to come back to our brother Clyde and talk about it from a planetary level. You know, we see that we are in the golden age, and we are, you know, we have a portion of society, 1% of society, that wants to keep humanity held back in archaic structures, outdated paradigms that are no longer useful to us. We've had enough of them. So, you know, on a planetary scale, we see that things like we was talking about Uranus, revolution has become the order of the day. Now, how much control does man really have? Because we see that they're trying to bring a second wave of corona. Now they're saying it's a black plague. They're saying that in China there's bubonic plague and the black plague. They're trying everything to keep humanity held back in a mental, psychological prison. Yeah, but the whole of the universe, on the other hand, is doing something else. So let's talk about it, Brother Clyde.
Okay, let's talk in terms of cycles, because everything, as we say, is very cyclical, and everything is about cycles, and everything is connected with cycle. And the cycle is either a child, it's either youth, it's either adult or old age. So we can look at the cycle like that. The cycle is either light or darkness or light. The cycle is either fall or summer, or fall or spring or fall. So we look at where the cycle. So when we look at the people who were demanding reparation from, were demanding to come clean in terms of historical injustice, we're looking at these people who are actually entering a fall. Yes, they're entering a fall, and not fall is as the season, while the people who are demanding justice and demanding that they come clean are coming into a spring. Yes, or we could call it they're going into night and one is coming into day, and that's what's happening. The ancient have a cycle, which the same night and day cycle which we have on a daily basis. We also have that same cycle on a yearly basis. The day cycle of the year is spring, summer. The night cycle of the year is fall, winter. Yes? The day cycle, which is day, we have night and day. Now on a big scale, we have a 13,000 year cycle and another 13,000 year cycle. 13,000 years of light and 13,000 years of darkness, which you connect that together, you got 26,000 years, which we call the great year cycle. You have that same cycle within the year as the month, 6 months of dark, 6 months of light. Yes, which we consider spring and fall, spring, summer, and fall, winter. Now, we can look at that cycle plays out in the human and as well. And so we look, and when we're talking about they, or the people who are dealing with injustice on the planet, we come to a sense that it's important that there's a revolution here on the injustice, that we want justice to stand. We want Maat to be represented on all levels for all people. Yes?
But
and
that
so,
must be, isn't it? Isn't it?
Must
in
be.
Terms,
it
has to be for there to be balance in the universe, in on the earth. There must be. You cannot have constantly evil, and people being killed and maimed and tortured by the same 1% of people.
Right, and that's
there
why we're at the junction.
Order. Divine order.
We're at the junction of that change order right now. And when they talk about, people talk about the new world order and they talk about the great change, it's not, the change is not man's doing. The change is regulated from the heavens, is way from the spirit world into this world. Just like how we don't change day into night and night into day. We might be able to flicker a light, but we still haven't changed night into day. ordained to night. Yes, because that cycle is regulated from the heavens. Yes, and so we know by all account that we have entered, or we have traversed, the 26,000 year cycle. And the ancient called it, when we have completed that cycle, they call it the Zeptepi, meaning the first time. We're coming into time where time has evolved over the cycles of 26,000 years, and we're starting a new cycle. So they say we that are alive at this time are walking between worlds. And I would like to share my screen here for a minute, just to show something in connection to what I'm talking about. And let me just go here. Let's see if I could share it. Let me just, there's something I want to share here. Let me see if I could get to share it. Can you see that or no?
No, not yet.
Okay, let me see.
Is he able to share the screen, Alfred? Or do you have to?
Yes, he's able.
Okay.
Let me see if I could go. Let me see. I thought I got it right, but okay. Can you see that or no?
Not yet.
Okay, it's not been done right then. Okay, I might have to leave this. If
to share screen, you have to open the image first on your desktop, and then you share screen.
Okay, I open it. It's open on my my phone, and I go to that 4 bar and click on it and come back to the link, and then I go to share screen. Start now. Let's see. Okay, I'm not getting it. I don't know why. You're not seeing it, eh?
No.
Okay, I don't know why. Okay, I wanted to show some pictures here in connection, but let me just talk about, there's an image, there's a book that was put out by Jose, it called The Part Beyond Technology. And that was put out back in the early 90s. And what he's saying that we're coming onto a part beyond technology, because the synchronic beam that we've been on for a long time is getting ready to shift. And that shifting is bringing us beyond technology. When we talk about beyond technology,
beyond technology, are you referring to post AI?
Yes, I'm talking beyond AI. AI is just that we're coming at the end of that cycle. People think AI and 5G are all, we're entering a high technological society. No, it's coming to an end.
Right.
Based on what they're saying, because we're moving on to a new wave. What is technology? The first thing to ask, what is technology, in order to understand why we're going to move beyond it. Technology is symbolic of our failure, or we want to try to improve on what we already have. The grinder is nothing but our teeth. The camera is nothing but our eyes. The forklift and those things are nothing but hands and feet that we create as a technological thing. It means that we have not evolved, but we are devolving, because we're creating outward machine to do what we can actually do with our physical body, as well with our spiritual mind, in the sense that we can actually transcend time and space by the powers of our higher dimensional powers. And so the part beyond technology means that the human in general, we're moving into a higher dimensional frequency in time, that the technology that are really a deficit of who we are is coming to an end. Because higher dimensional, we should be able to talk to each other without a telephone. Telepathy.
Yes, absolutely.
And all of this frequency.
We do it all the time.
Yes, so this is where the energy is coming back into power. And this is where the concept of the New World Order. The New World Order is not about what the secret society are pleasurizing and are saying that getting ready to happen. It's a universal change based on the 26,000 year cycle, or the Zeptepi that we're coming in, a new 26,000 year cycle.
Right.
or the Mayan call it a new synchronic beam, which is a 5,200 and something year cycle that we will enter, which is actually symbolic of a smaller cycle, which we call the Mayan castle, which is a 52-day cycle, which is a 52-year cycle. Now, the 52-year cycle we call the synchronic code, secret in the connection to that the year we in, which is 2019-2020, is symbolic of 1968-1969, because it's symbolic of 52 years back in the past that we synchronized with every 52 years.
Well, that's very
and just
interesting.
like
That's very interesting.
Yes,
I
go
want
ahead.
to say two things.
Yes.
Because some people say that, I've heard there's a brother, Ralph Smart from Infinite Waters Diving Deep. He actually says that the Ethiopian calendar is 2012. On the Ethiopian calendar right now is the 2012 that they were prophesying back in 2012. It wasn't then, is now. Now, in terms of the 1968 and those times now, we know that was the first awakening. You know,
Okay.
we see the hippie movement, and if you remember, people grew their hair long, it was peace and love. And then what happened is they phased in the technological age within, but because I would say by late 60s, early 70s was, if we listen to music and we listen to look at what was transpiring that at that time, we had a lot of civil rights. What's happened? Is this your thing?
No, I'm just looking for the screen. I think I got it. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
right. Okay. Wonderful.
Can you see it? Okay. I'm
Yes,
just testing
yes.
while you were talking. That's fine.
Yes, that's okay. So I was just saying that 1968 through the 70s, that was the first awakening, and they shut it down with the 80s. As soon as the 80s hit, they brought in acid music, techno music, and they moved, because throughout the 70s we had organic music, real musicians, you had Bob Marley, Fela Kuti, you had a lot of high frequency people that were revolutionaries, bringing the message of peace, love, etc. And what happened was they shut it down. So it's interesting that you revert back to that period of time, because that was the first awakening, which we know they shut down using drugs, etc., etc. So explain what we're seeing in front of us.
Okay, you're looking at the Kanara. Can you see that? Everybody see the Kanara?
Okay, what is a Kanara? It looks like a candle holder to
Right,
me.
it's a 7 candle holder. If I have to put a double, that's like taking a cycle of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cycles and cut it in half.
Right.
And that's the 7 planets cut in half to make what is called a Kanara.
Right.
Yes, so when we light in the 7 candlestick, it symbolizes the 7 planets and the 7 days of the week.
What planets are they referring to? Is it any specific planets?
From the sun, which rules Sunday, to Saturn, which rules Saturday. So Sunday, the sun; Monday, the moon; Tuesday, Mars; Wednesday, Mercury; Thursday, Jupiter; Friday, Venus; Saturday, Saturn. So those are the 7 candlesticks.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I'm using that to show how the cycles, when we talk about cycles, how they all play out. We're looking at here now, we're looking at another sign here where it shows that King David here praying to the sun. S-U-N, not S-O-N.
Okay.
And it's actually, you could go into Psalm 63 verse 7. It's actually a quotation from Psalm 63 verse 7. Under the wings of the sun.
Okay, do you know what that psalm is?
Yes, it talks about under the wings. He abides under the wings of the sun.
Okay.
Yes, I've
So
got the
Psalm
quotation.
60.
Yes,
Okay.
it shows here the physical body above. Yeah, okay. And then I go here to the book that I was talking about, the part beyond technology. You see there the Mayan factor, and shows the whole Zolkin chart system and how it's actually talk about what is called the path beyond technology. Okay, this is the symbol for the Zolkin chart, yeah, and see the cycles here. So if you look at the cycles from 3113 BC all the way to 2012, I bring this up because you talk about 2012, and each one of these cycles represents 394 years, really the 400 years that we're talking about.
Right.
Each one of these cycles, and that's where we came at 2012 to the end of a 400-year cycle from 1618 to 2012, end the 400-year cycle, which is 390 cycle, give and take 400. So when we talk about 2012 calendar, however, there is a link. There is a link between the 2012 and the actually 2020 in that sense of the cycles. Because, you know, just like spring or just like fall or just like summer, it just don't come in one day it's bright. It starts gradually, light going out and dark coming in, or dark going out and light coming in.
Right.
Yeah, so we came to the end of the cycle 2012 and we've seen a difference because we know that the New World Order, let's talk about their plans and why they're planning. They know that we are going to be activated to other dimensions beyond the dimensional planet that we are. They know that.
Yes.
And because of that, they have been trying their best to lock us back or lock us into this reality through the food train. Yes, and so they've been working.
That's what the vaccines are about.
The vaccine and the foods as well. Both all the genetic food is to manipulate us to keep us down the dimension as opposed to rising on the higher level that the planetary energies and the influence is going to create for us.
Right.
But we go to the Vedic system. They talk about the cycle that we're in here, which is the cycle of the what they call the dark age, which they call Kalki. But they talk about the last avatar that would come at the end of the Iron Age that we're in. Yes, which is called Kalki. Kalki is the dark one. And he said he would come at the end of the Iron Age, which we're in. Yes, because at the end of the Iron Age, which they want to keep us down in this lockdown into this dimension, there's going to be a level of what is called a brain power. Yes, a brain power, that what they said, that there's the mind and there's the brain. There's a frequency that is going to elevate us to another dimension, another level. And this is why they want to keep us locked down in vaccination or whatever genetic manipulation they're working with. Because if you look back at Bill Gates, he's working with the same genetic manipulating people. He's part of it.
Right.
Yes, so they want to keep us in a lockdown, in prison, while the energy that is coming want to free us. So when I look at everybody wearing what is called the face mask, I called it the closing of the mouth ceremony. In ancient times, they have what is called the open of the mouth ceremony. Symbolically, we're going to the closing of the mouth ceremony because we don't realize what's happening. Because the energy is not about what we say anymore. It's about the power of activation, the power of thought. It's not about words anymore. It's about thought. You can think it and it's happening.
Yes, we're manifesting rapidly. If you think about something, that's why I say to people, really be careful what you say out of your mouth. You know, don't wash your mouth on certain things. People, you know, always speak in terms of what you want to manifest, what you want to experience in your life. Whatever happened in the past is gone. Right now, we're co-creators. Right now, we're co-creators and we're building our own timeline. That's beautiful, brother. Thank you so much for sharing that. So what is this one now?
Okay, this one
looks like flames.
Yes, it looks like flames, and it also looks like the human body. But there's something else hidden here. It's a language. It's the Hebrew language. It's the language of Yad-He-Vah-He, or Jehovah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Right.
So when you talk about we are gods in that sense of they're talking about, because we are gods, yes, in miniature form.
Like
Yes.
demigods.
Well,
So
not demi, but we are lower vibration. Like we said, I'm the son of my father, and my father is the power figure in the family. But I'm the son, but that don't mean that I become the father later on, because I'm the lower active of my father. He's a higher active in the
right.
sense, because he can do something that I can't do, in the sense of, he's gone through my stage. I haven't gone through his stage.
Right.
So when we're talking about but man is the lower active of the higher intelligence, and that's why we show that all the cycles of the universe within man, we got all the stars and planets are really representing our organs and our cells in our body. It's all interlinked. And so,
Right.
yes, we are the Yad He Vahe in the sense, and that's what he's showing here. This is the Hebrew letter. I didn't make this up.
Right. So you talked about the stage, because I want to show you something in relation to that after you finished your presentation. I actually wanted to show it before. And it is the masks, because back in the day, they used to muzzle us and mask us. And the masks that they're giving people are symbolic of what used to happen to us in, it's still slavery. Let's be real. We talk about slavery like it was past tense. Slavery is alive and kicking in the UK, very much so, and around the world. If you look at places like Libya, so I wanted to share that. So how does this play into where we are?
Okay, can you see the other slip, right up there? Oh, you can see it, can you?
No, what we're looking at is a
right up is words.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, I'm answering your question by saying that this is a song by Bonnie Whaler. He says, never knew that the time has come when every man got to know where he comes from. Yeah, and he used the analogy of the fig tree taken from the Bible. And this is what we're talking about: under our own fig tree, under our own rulership, under our own power, under our own vibration, under our own authority, under our own rulership. Every man have a right to decide his own destiny.
Absolutely.
And this is where we're at in time and space.
Absolutely.
And so we're trying to decide our own destiny in terms of, because every race of people have to decide their own destiny.
Right.
But the most important thing that we also have to, regardless to where or what our decision is in terms of our destiny, we also have to realize that we're interconnected. Sorry, my camera is going off there. I'm just trying to put back my camera. Let me take off, share the screen. Yeah. Okay.
That's beautiful. So are you saying, brother?
Realize that we are destined. Yes.
I was just going to ask you, are you saying, regardless of what they do, there's nothing they can, because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that cosmically there's nothing they can do to stop what is coming. Are you saying that?
What happens is just like the season. That's why I use the power of the season, because darkness is going out and light is coming in. You understand? Right. During slavery, light was going out, darkness was coming in. When we say darkness, we're talking about negativity and we're talking about positivity. So what we find, and this is going across the board, both Chinese, European, Asians, we have a lot of positive and blacks as well. We have a lot of positive people are coming in, shedding light. Yes, while there are a lot of negative people who are going out with the darkness, and we're challenging the dark forces. We're challenging all the negativity. When we say dark forces, we're talking forces of evil, forces of negativity. We're challenging that because we have the power of the light, of the influence of the heaven that comes in. As we said, there's a revolution in values. So we're challenging based on values, based on the power of Maat. In that sense, so Maat have to be re-established. So what we're witnessing is the re-establishing of the Maat. They're letting us know what they want to do. It's not that they're going to do that. They're letting us know what they want to do. We are responding and says, no, we're not having it.
Yes.
We're not having it. And because
Yes.
we're not having it, we're organizing ourselves, we're networking, we're working together to build a better world. And this is across all racial lines, all barriers.
Yeah,
And
absolutely
that's what I
beautiful.
think, that's what the judge was saying about putting certain initiative, you know, in terms of law and order.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, the 144,000 has arisen, and and we're basically we answered the call. Basically, we've answered the call. Now, yesterday I saw something by a young, I don't know if she was German, and I don't know quite where she was. Did you see that post, Alfred, with the young girl that was talking in the UN? I don't know how old she was, but she schooled them. She basically said, we're gonna arrest you people. She said, look at you smirking behind your mask. We're awake and we're coming for you. Are you with the deep state? This young girl, I mean, the way that she spoke was so refreshing, because there's been a repression on the truth. There's been a repression on people just telling it like it is. But it feels like, brother, that the universe has stepped in and said, okay, you people have had your time, you've had your fun, it's time for us to put you in check. Yeah? So this is what I'm feeling, and I was curious to see because they say that when the Most High speaks to her people, his people, the people, the constellations, it is done through constellations. The transconfiguration of planetary activity is how we can determine the Most High's message to us as
Well,
people.
let me touch on an activity that happens just around January. In 2017, I talk about that Saturn going into Capricorn, conjuncting Pluto, and what that's going to be mean for the entire duration of Saturn in Capricorn, especially when Saturn meets conjuncts Jupiter at the last conjunction before it actually leave Capricorn, which is 2020. And I talk about what it's going to represent, a total restructuring of the world. And I actually have that on a video and audio from the lecture that I did. And I said that the government in the worldwide is going to be suffering. I call it actually a worldwide Saturn return. And I said it's going to represent a major change or the total restructuring of the world. And that's where we are today.
Right. So basically, it doesn't matter what they try, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what they try. It doesn't mean that we haven't to be awake and aware of what the plots, because obviously we know that they're because really what we're talking about is domestic terrorism. There's no pandemic, it's domestic terrorism. You have people who have got enough money, enough influence, control of media, the power to influence large amounts of people, and they're using it to abuse. They're using it to manipulate. They're using it to terrorize. That's what this whole thing is. I want to show you this before. What time do we have, Alfred? What's our time? Let me just see if I can still show you that image. Hopefully I will be able to pull it up. It's not that one.
We have about 25 minutes.
All right, okay, so let me quickly show you this, and then you can share what it is that you wanted to share, Alfred. This is really important that you see. This is important too, actually, because it shows you the mockery that these people are doing. I want to show you this. This is really important. And then there's something else. Just 2 seconds. I pulled it up. I did pull it up, but then the computer crashed. So bear with me. It's just below here. It should be just below here. 2 seconds. Oh yeah, that's another one. Oh my God. There's a video with they're harvesting babies to eat, and they're asking people, you know, what part of the baby do you want? I mean, I don't know if you've seen that one, but that's something else that has to be seen. I mean, even the fact that somebody like Kanye West is running for government, I don't know if you aware of that. If everybody on the panel is aware, because right now there is no government. They put forward Joe Biden and you know, Trump. I think people are tired of it. I think people are, all right, here it is. People are tired of these paradigms. So I'm just going to take this down. And there's a lot of organizations that are calling for the end of government based on the fraud with the birth certificate. You know, they basically conned people into it, people's families into it. And so really and truly, they have no business trying to have control over anybody anymore. So anyway, let's try to share this. I want to share this now. Let's see if you can see it. Hopefully you will see this. Can you see what I'm sharing? I'm sharing the screen. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
You can. Can you see the masks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This, and let's read actually what it said, and I want to get everybody's feedback on what you see. It's a shame that Sister Sophia is dropped off, but during slavery, slaves were forced to wear masks as to symbolically mask them as to not having a voice, to be owned under the control of another person. And that is the real reason that they obviously want people to wear masks. What say you about this? Starting with you, brother Galactic Clyde. Can you hear me? Are
Yes,
you
I
there?
can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
what say
Well,
you?
I said, just like what I said, it was our closing of the mouth ceremony in the sense that they dumb us down. You understand? They dumb us down. But what happened when they dumb us down? A lot of us still was able to produce a lot of what runs technology today. A lot of the ingenious creativity that come forth from slavery, you know, based on our suffering and what we have produced in terms of creativity has manifested to make the world what it is today. And people are enjoy it without even giving the respect to where it's due. You understand? So what is happening that we're coming to another level of that, because as we're locking down the whole world or encouraging people to shut them out, shut their nose, is that we also are tapping into another aspects of ourselves, because the brain frequency, the power of thought is manifesting more, because this is where we're moving into the fourth dimension, which is the power of thought. I don't believe in wearing masks. I don't wear the mask in public. I walk with one in my bag just in case if I'm in a meeting, and if I'm going to a meeting and I'm on the train, I'm not going to argue with the police about getting me off the train, so I get to where I go. But I don't really wear the mask because I'm also into herbs and I know how to protect myself from any kind of virus in that sense. Yes, but I do understand that we're dealing with a pandemic and not a pandemic.
Okay, thank you. Now, can I bring the same question to you, Sister Cezanne?
Yes, I think I mentioned earlier that I had a revelation, really, I should say, that the mask, I saw it on 3 different levels, like physically, spiritually, and metaphysically. It was almost like that this is just a physical representation of what's happening spiritually. Right. So, like I said, spiritually, they are trying to silence us as a human race, stop us from speaking our truth, stop us from. So this is just a physical representation of what is happening spiritually. That was what I saw. And this is a video which I posted on my Instagram telling people to refuse to wear the mask.
Absolutely. And this is the kind of barbarism, because actually we're being terrorized by these people, but they want to silence people from speaking about it. And it's very much like this. I mean, these are all tortures. And so basically, so that they don't have to listen to the pain that they're inflicting on other people, they actually muzzle people. This is the kind of level of cruelty that we have been subjected to.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're doing it to ourselves, because we are physically putting the mask on ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know, they're not doing it to us. We're putting it on ourselves.
Absolutely.
So.
And this is why Stop the Silence is so important, what you're doing, Kemet. Now, Kemet, what would you say about this?
It's basically to stop the silence and to put us right back into slavery. Even the ones going right across the head. Can you imagine the pressure of the head as well, with the metal going across? And even though people might say that it hasn't gone that far yet, but they don't do anything unless they go into that direction. So it's going to head that way if we don't stop it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you, Wadada, can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Just like the others are saying that, yeah, they're definitely they're programming people. There's a lot of people going on the bus and wearing it. I don't really wear it. I might have a little scarf or whatever. In order to have respect going on the bus, I'll put it over my mouth when I and then when I'm coming off, I'll just take it off again. But there's a lot of people who are actually on the street wearing those masks. So they're definitely programming people, and a lot of the elderlies are frightened. They're frightened, and that's how a lot of the elderly people are dying, because it's like they can't even breathe properly, because you can't breathe properly in those things, especially if it's hot and you're on the bus. You know?
Absolutely.
You can see that people can't breathe, so they definitely try to kill. They definitely try to kill off people. But I would say to you, I would say that
it relates back to the I can't breathe,
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
But can I come in with something here? Because you know that when COVID-19 starts, it was optional. The mask was always optional. The reason why the mask becomes mandatory, because it was too quick. We came out of COVID-19 restrained too quick, in the sense that more and more people were getting better too fast, and it didn't seem like they were keeping up with the mandate of the need. No, the mandate of the need for vaccination. So if by allowing people, by making the mask mandatory, it means that if we keep the mask on, it's showing that we're waiting for something to happen, which is vaccination.
Absolutely.
So they needed to put a program. They need to put a program in place to justify the need for vaccination. Even when so many countries have actually come to the table and says they found many cures, many cures for this symptom, so-called COVID-19 or so-called flu virus.
Many countries have come forward and said that it's a hoax. Italy, Brazil recently, the members of parliament stormed into the hospital because they said 500 people were ill and 200 people had died. They went into the hospital. These are members of parliament, only to find that the whole hospital was empty, and all the graves because they created miles and miles and miles of graves. And when they turned these graves over, they were all empty coffins. And they actually also showed that they went inside the governor's house, and he had stashed the stolen money from the public in his ceilings of his house. All of this is live on camera. I made a report about it, but YouTube took it down, because YouTube, unfortunately, is
part of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So Alfred, what say you? Because you sent me this and you actually wanted to raise this. So what say you?
Well, yes, I concur with what people say, and the next time that we have a free moment, I'd like to share screen with something else.
Okay, I want to show you a couple of other things, and then I'm going to sign off. The next thing I want to share, because this is very important. this is the whole COVID-19 situation, and I want to move this on the side, but you can see they've replicated the Last Supper with it, okay? So if you look at every part of this picture of the Last Supper of Jesus, so in a way, symbolically, what they're saying is that this COVID-19 is their religion. It has religious connotations to them, because obviously it says the new world religion. And the new world religion, this is faith and belief, COVID-19 and its ministers. We saw the dancing nurses and, you know, all of what they've been carrying out, they've been showing us in mockery, you know, because part of the satanic order, whoops, I don't know what that is, sorry, I think we might have changed, yeah. All of what we've seen has been done in mockery, which is very much in keeping with Operation Mockingbird. And if you look at the picture of the Last Supper and you look at this image, it is literally the same thing. Every part of the Last Supper, which is also a fakery, because these people were all melanated, which the Archbishop of Canterbury is now flagging up, and I'll show you that as well. He actually is saying that the white Jesus has to be taken down. So if we look, can you see, you've got the three people on the end here talking to each other. Then you've got him whispering to him, that's there. Then this one is supposed to evidently be Jesus. Then you've got the three people here, which is these three. And then you've got the ones at the end and the one standing with the arms. And this is showing you that they are mocking you. They are mocking you on the worst way possible. But I want to show you one other thing. If I get an opportunity to share with you the I will come out for a second while I look for it, Alfred. Hold on, let me see if I find it here. No, that's the one with the, because you know there is one with the babies, Alfred. Well, okay, Alfred, you share your screen and then I'll find it while you're sharing your screen. Thank you, I'll come out of here. But there's two things that I wanted to share with you. I mean, obviously, you know about the reparations, don't you? That Lloyd's is saying that they're going to pay us reparations for our slavery. Okay. Go ahead, Alfred. I'm going to find this other thing.
I just wanted to share some of the elements of the platform, which I think should be the platform of a just society and should be what we're all aiming for. Number one, world debt forgiveness, because we've been put in the money enslavement system. See, money and government and religion are three tools for the enslavement of a people. So the money debt for forgiveness. Number two, disenfranchisement of the state power of monarchies and religions worldwide. The UK monarchy and the Vatican are examples of abuses. And there, as I said, and I just want to, you know, if people agree with it or not, that the monarchy itself, that's an embodiment. If you look at the UK monarchy, the Dutch monarchy, the Belgian monarchy, that is where you're elevating the Caucasian race to the embodiment of state power. The Caucasian race is the embodiment of state power. They're all white and they embody the state power. And so that institution goes hand in hand with enslavement of other races. And that's why I think it should be abolished. And the Belgian king, Leopold, and his role in the Belgian Congo, I think, is archetypal of that. Criminalization of the war industry. a criminalization and global ban on war, genocide, and depopulation in all of its forms, and criminal prosecution and conviction of the war crimes racketeering organization, and restorative justice for war crimes victims. In other words, there's retributive justice and restorative justice. And this is to go in and take all of those assets that belong to the monarchies, to the banks, etc., and restore, use that as restorative to the victims. And then these go into planning and triggering wars, radiation, genocide, and ecocide, planning and geoengineering, weather attack, HARP, famine, vaccines, carrying out a program of assassination. I mean, you know, carrying out doping, a lethal 300-year-old conspiracy. The British monarchy has been head of the world illicit drug industry for 300 years. That's how it's maintained its wealth, this one little island, as by being the head of the world industry. And the Duke of Devonshire and all these people, they're nothing but drug lords. Abolition of big tech monopoly on the broadcast, et cetera, et cetera. So we have platforms for this, and this is the future positive society and platforms that we're moving toward, and I wanted to share that.
Thank you so much, Alfred.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Alfred, does anybody want to make a comment on what Alfred just shared?
Yeah, I thought it was very good and he covered most things, but I would have liked to see reparations for it's like crimes against humanity, for the African Holocaust. I think that's the only thing that's missing, and there was nothing more horrific than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you think about Leopold.
Yeah. No, right. I mean, perhaps I wasn't explicit. That, yeah, I will do that. That goes under the moniker of restorative justice, including reparations. But it goes under the general. See, the idea is that it's not only reparations, but which is, you know, so much cash or whatever, but you're transferring the whole means of production. See, you have an entire race that has been impoverished for centuries. So what you're doing is that you're changing the entire position of the means of production. That's why it's restorative justice. It's a whole change of the infrastructure, not only a transfer of cash, is what I'm saying, and that's in the restorative justice part.
Yeah, I mean that's so necessary. Go ahead.
Which I totally agree. Yeah, sorry, Alfred. I totally agree with you, and I understand it now that you've broken it down even further, and it is there under that guise. Thank you. But I just wanted to say, state that when it comes to reparation, a lot of people think that it's about cash and we want cash and whatever, but it's not even about the cash. It's about the repair. You know, we need repairing. We need healing. You know, that's the main thing for me. Not even about the cash. It's about the repair.
It's also, you know, because the whole system is designed not only to rob us, exploit us, enslave us. It's also designed to hem us in, for us to prevent us being able to do for self. You know, a lot of us would just like to be able to live our lives, you know, just be able to plant our own corn and eat from our own corn, you know, but the system doesn't allow us to benefit from what we create without having to be part of the lodge or, you know, one of their structures, one of their secret societies. Unless you're with that kind of infrastructure and you're outside of that, basically you're considered something of an enemy of the state just for wanting to be able to feed your family. You know, I don't believe it. I'm a wealth creator. I am, and you know, many of us, we're extremely resourceful people. When you've had hundreds of years of slavery, it means you're very skilled, because we don't have the benefit of being able to just go to the shop and buy something. We have to create it for ourselves. If we want a nice dress, we have to make that dress. You know what I mean? If you want a nice, whatever we want, we have to create it. And because of it, we're resourceful. But the problem is that we are being prevented and hemmed in from even being able to benefit from the things that we create for, even for our survival and living at this time. So I want to show that has to change. If they want to change, it's not about just changing a badge, which is stepping on a black man. It's changing the policies, starting to return the monies that are belonging to me, Sophia, Stewart, all the people who have been violated, reparations. If you really want to change that system, this is how you do it. Because I don't care what you call me in the street. I couldn't give a damn. Make sure that you put my money in my account. That's my labor right there. Why should I be putting your children through school, the best grade of education, while my children don't have it and my grandchildren don't have it? That's slavery. You know, for me to be funding another person's lineage and another person's, out of my wealth, other people's families are being made better. You know, they're living in a very good standard. Their children have the best cars, the best schools, the best. My children don't have that. And it is my wealth. That is where we have to change things. We have to change that. And until they change that, what they're talking about is nonsense. To be apologizing and Harry to say, teach us how it's done. How it's done is that you go to the bank and you actually transfer the money that is not your money and you put it back into our account. That's how it's done. It's very simple. We don't need no long dialogue on this thing.
And how it's done, Harry, you go to your grandmother and say, give me them crowns, let me give them big diamonds what we took out of South Africa and give it back to the people so they can see.
This is how it's done.
That's how it's done.
This is how it's done. And how it's done is when you see me creating my wealth, creating my music, don't be putting a black, because this is the other thing, they blacklist people. They blacklist people from being able to work in certain places. You know, we're obstructed in everywhere we go. They say, okay, even if you want to get a lawyer, they put your name out there to say, okay, nobody's going to represent her because we owe her money. We don't want to give her back the money. So you're absolutely obstructed wherever you go. But you know what? Hey, I'm now working with one of the greatest judges in the planet right now because of the fact that they obstructed me. So the thing is, when you try to obstruct us, you just make us even greater. I never had no plans to be no judge. I had plans to be a guitarist. That was my choice. And I'm now working with the great legendary Alfred Weber. So when you think you're obstructing us and you're hemming us in, you're just making us even greater. So you're losing for yourself. Reality is, if you want to end slavery, allow Black businesses to flourish. I've seen there was Black Spot, which was equivalent to Facebook. The obstructions they got, because there was a mass migration, it was all Black company, Black Facebook. Everybody was like, whoa, there's the first Black Facebook. Everybody jumped on there. Before you knew it, they had so much obstructions. They had all tech problems to shut it down, to stop it. You see, they don't want us, but they don't want us to have our own. This is the problem.
And this is the thing.
The major problem.
Look at Little Us and Stop the Silence and 2Real. If you go on Insta, they've taken down our videos. It's got a big cross in it saying offensive, this and that. They don't let us go live hardly. They've gone ad hoc on us.
You see,
crazy.
This is institutional slavery, what it looks like. You try to create your own. Okay, we're not allowed to talk on Facebook. We're not allowed to post what we want to post. We're not allowed to say, let's create our own. You create your own and they stop you from being able to post on there. They'll mess with all the actual, how do you say, the mechanisms, all the technical side of it. They'll start putting obstructions so that people can't go on there. You know, when you try to get the payments through on PayPal won't be working anymore. This is how they stop us. So basically, they don't want us to be able to thrive in their system, and they don't want us to have our own system. This is part of the problem. This is what institutional slavery looks like. This is why we don't have our own banks. Do you think our people haven't tried to make our own banks?
Yes.
Can I say this? Hello?
Yes.
I've been on Facebook. I've been on Facebook since 2010 as Galactic Light, posting on and off, and 2020 I decided I'm a full-time posting about vaccination. I post about 5G, and I post about the law, and as actually I post a document the law as it should be. Facebook locked me out and said I need to use a name that I use every day, and they then don't allow me to come in, and I need ID for that name, which is the name I've been using all the time from 2020. That's my ID, that's my name I'm using, but yet they lock me out. And they use some fake thing about I need to use a name I use every day, which is the name I use to log everybody into my Facebook page. So yes, they use all kind of tactics whenever, but yet people are posting all kind of negative stuff and still survive Facebook. And people are using all kind of other names that they don't use every day, and they're still on Facebook. So yes, all these things is happening, and this is how we've been marginalized under the fake thing that they're trying to do something positive.
Absolutely. So Alfred, you wanted to, because we're now 1 hour and 33 minutes, so we've come to the end of the segment. You wanted to say something, Alfred?
No, I was trying to get your attention on the time, but
okay.
Really, I think that this is the second series of the platform on this theme, and it is extremely powerful, and they're very practical social steps that can be taken.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, so can you share your steps now, because we've come into the end? I think it's a good time to share what steps do you think we can take, Alfred?
Yeah, no, those are the ones that I showed.
Okay, that was wonderful. I will just show, if I can just share one more thing before we end the show. I want to show, there was a couple of things. Let me, how do I do it? I go here. All right, share screen. Are we sharing? All right, no, I did the wrong thing. Okay, so this is very important. Can you see that?
Yes, that's coming through.
Okay, so that was what Archbishop of Canterbury said. Archbishop of Canterbury says Jesus shouldn't be portrayed as white, and church statues will have to come down. So basically, this is what happens when you lie to people for centuries. Eventually, now you've built your whole system and your infrastructure of your system. You've created monuments that are absolutely fake. Okay, and so now the truth is coming out. You have to tell the truth. Now you're put in the situation where you have to start pulling your statues down. What say the panel about this? I started with it before, and I wish Sophia was here. Much love to Sophia. She obviously couldn't stay. But what say you people?
Okay, can I kick off on this?
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. Hello? You've got to say it in a minute, basically.
Okay. Well, if we have to, yes, even if we put this image, even if we still, because actually the story is a story behind another story, which is another story, and the story is actually the SUN, And so no matter how much human figure we give the SUN, it's still not the right story. So we might as well go to the SUN, which is 12 months of the year, which is the 12 signs of the zodiac, which is the sun goes to the Southern Cross and die every year and reborn in the time of December. So if we're gonna do this, let's go back to the original story, which comes from Heron set in ancient Egypt.
So let's just pull all the truth out. Let's get to the real root of everything. And, you know, obviously this story was used as a form of manipulation. You know what I mean? Do you want to say anything, Kemet, in under a minute?
No, I'm fine.
Sorry, I had my phone on mute.
Do you want to say anything, Cezanne?
Yes, I just wanted to say, well, whilst they're pulling down these white statues, are they going to replace them with the Black Jesus?
Well, that's a very good question. Do you want to say anything about this, Alfred?
Yes, this is from the more esoteric research that I do. And I do research, among other things, in the secret DARPA CIA time travel program. And I've spoken personally to members of that program who have participated in a top secret time travel film that the DARPA CIA time travel program made. And they went back to the quote crucifixion. And he's been in that film where they went back and made a chronovisor video film of the crucifixion. And in that film, I'm just reporting the facts that I was told by the witness, the figure being crucified, it was identified, whatever the name is a melanated figure. So, and that's classified top secret, and all sorts of dignitaries of the United States, you know, who are in this top secret thing get to see it. So that is historically in the time travel program. It. So, and
thank you.
Yeah.
I want to show you this as well. Okay, all right, sorry. This is, it should actually show you the article. The article is actually about slavery. It says that, I don't know how to get rid of, how do I click off this? I'm trying to, because it's not now. Let me go to not now. Does that get rid of it? Okay, well, this particular article, maybe if I refresh it, it might come back. This particular article is basically that Lloyd's of London and King Green to make slave trade reparations. Let me just go to here. Has anybody seen any money from this is my question. You know, because they're saying that...
Asians.
Sorry?
Probably going to the Asians, because when they say BAME, there's a lot of funding which is supposed to go to blacks goes to the Asians. You know.
Well, I haven't received anything, and they've been slave trading me for the last 17 years personally, as well as my ancestors. So where is this money going? This was on the 18th of June. Where is the money going? So anyway, this is a step in the right direction. I don't want to mock it. I want to say, you know, you people who have benefited from our labor, it's time for you to do exactly as it says here. You have to start being honest about it and start making amends. You know, 2 major British firms have pledged to make payments to representatives of Black people. Representatives of Black people, what does that mean?
That's what I was looking at.
Who are these representatives? No, don't make any representatives for us. Make it to us one individually. Start paying us what you owe us individually. Okay? That's what needs to happen. But Wadada, what did say you? I don't know if I asked you about the Jesus thing. Did you want to make a comment on that, Wadada? Sorry.
Well, you know, it's everything's just happening, and so it's supposed to happen, you know, and just like as you said, individually, because they slave, you know, when you go down the line, our ancestors, you know, your great grandparents and so on and so forth, you know, we've actually lived that, and you know, I think we just got to focus on self, and everything is going to happen. Because if you don't,
Yes.
you ain't gonna live to tell the tale anyway. So that's the most
Okay.
important.
So we need to find out who this Kevin Rawlinson is and ask him to ask whoever's given him that individual to start paying up. You can start with going to Virgin and BBC and all the people who are beneficiaries of my stolen work. They need to start paying me. Everybody I've got a case with, that includes my ex-husband, my 2 friends. You need to start paying my money of what you owe me for the damage you've done. I want my money from anybody who's exploited me and abused me. That is the housing and also the people who have stolen my work, as well as from my ancestors. Everybody needs to start paying up at this time. And I would say that for everybody on the panel as well. Those who owe Sister Sophia Stewart, pay her money. I want to show you this last image. Oops, this is a weird one. Sorry, I wanted to show you one more image, which was based on the image that, this is a strange image. Okay, it's here. Okay, so this is the thing here. I think it's a video, but I don't know if you've seen this. Basically, they have babies that are cooking. They're cooking babies. Let's see if we can open it. Where's it gone? Did they move it? I just opened it. It says, all right, view.
A second ago.
Okay, there it is. Okay, so look at this now. They have babies. Can you see this is little babies, newborn babies that they're preparing to, you know, this is the world, the rotten world that we're living in right now. Can you see what I'm seeing?
Is this from the Pizzagate video?
Sorry?
You heard about the Pizzagate?
Yeah, Pizzagate is another thing. This is basically
You heard
little
about the
babies.
Pizzagate? Okay.
Yes, I've heard about the Pizzagate. But this is basically, they seem to have a factory where they have babies and they're preparing the babies as food. Can you see that this is the rotten world that...
Like they're smiling as well.
Say that again.
Like one of them is smiling as well.
Yeah, it's tragic, you know, and we have to fight for the children as well. We have to fight for the children. I'm going to shut it now. I don't know where it is, but anyway, we've come to the end. I wanted to, it's not a very nice place to start, but these are the sort of things that we need to start to see the end of. Exploitation of vulnerable people. That means that includes children, exploitation of melanated people. These are the things that we need to change. Wadada, why are you upside down in the screen? Looking at you upside down, I'm like, what is going on there? So I want to just give everybody just a few words to end this. I want to thank everybody for your contribution today. It was beautiful of you. I want to thank Sister Sophia Stewart, who's not on here with us. Thank you, Sister Kemet. Much love to you. Gratitude. I want to give you the opportunity. What do you want to say as your last closing words, my sister?
Yeah, I like us to just continue to practice the spirit of Ubuntu, knowing that I am because we are, and because we are, therefore I am. I am nothing without you, and the same way you're nothing without me. We will need each other.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Sister Cezanne?
Thank you, Seven, for this brilliant opportunity to come and share what we know about this whole COVID and pandemic. My message is just refuse to wear the mask, really, and to focus on creating your version of heaven on earth rather than what they're pushing through the media. You know?
Yes, particularly in terms of racism, to end it. You know, I think your concept is right. You know, we got to do us and stop buying into whatever they say. You know, obviously we had the birth certificate, but that's nothing to do with us. We weren't part of it. If we had the choice, I would say none of us would have that birth certificate. If we had the option to get it for ourselves, we wouldn't be part of the system. So thank you, my sister. Do you want to have advertise anywhere where they can see your work?
Yes, they can download the first chapter of my book, journeyofassister.com, at journeyofassister.com. They can download the first chapter free.
And I want to say to Kemet as well, where can people get Stop the Silence? Because you said your Instagram is closed. Yeah. Where can people connect with you?
It's opened up today, but it might be shut off again at any time. But try and get us at official 2, the number 2, and Real, REAL on Instagram, or official Stop the Silence on Insta as well. You can DM us or anything like that, and we'll get right back to you.
Okay. Thank you,
Sister Severs. Thank you. Your wealth of knowledge. You and Alfred are seriously, everybody on here, Galactic Clyde, all of you that are wealth of knowledge. You blow my mind. It's like just so much knowledge. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alfred, for being a great host. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to say to Galactic Clyde, thank you so much. You came for the second half, and that was, you brought jewels of pearls of wisdom. You really did. You really did.
Welcome.
And you
You're
didn't
welcome.
even get started yet. This is a wealth of, I mean, honestly, I'm so grateful because I've wanted to bring you on for so long. And what you brought to the table just changed the paradigm of this whole thing. You know, it took away the black, white, negative, you know, this is where they want to keep us in this black and white fighting, and, you know, everybody's against this divide and conquer, but you just brought it on a universal level, man. We're all one underneath the universe. So that was so beautiful. Do you want to say anything?
I just want to say respect. Yes, I want to say respect to everybody who's on. Respect to our host, Albert Weber, and you know, the man on the saxophone. Respect you. Sister in Kemet, yes, Cezanne, good to be on the same platform with you. And Sophia, we miss you, but we'll link again, you know. And for everybody, just respect that, you know, we can do this, you know.
Yeah.
You know? Even while some people are shutting down, we're opening up and we're connecting, you know.
Absolutely. And is there anything that you want to share in terms of the things that are happening community-wise?
Okay, well, we have a cycle that's coming up, which is called the Blue Castle of Chaos and Transformation, begin on the 12th of July for 52 days, all the way up to September 2nd. So the Blue Castle of Chaos and Transformation is always packed with changes that can shift us to another level. So
on a cosmic level.
Yeah, especially those of us who were born during that time from July 12th to September 2nd this year.
I'm born in that cycle.
Yeah. So beware, be careful, as we're gonna be is the court of magic, and so a lot of shifting, you know, a lot of invention happen under this energy of the Blue Castle of Chaos and transformation. Yeah. So beware and just be, you know, it's a hard energy, you know, or cycle or spin. It's a very rough one because it's the Blue Castle, and it says what it is chaos and transformation. So beware. July 12th to September 2nd. 52 days.
So I was going to say, what about in terms of community projects? Do you want to share anything like that? Any website information, anything?
Well, I'm linked with the Garvey Village, and we do a Friday Zoom meeting every Friday. And so I was on last Friday, but we have different speakers coming on to grace the Garvey Village with different information and what's going on to the community. So you can tune into the Garvey Village on YouTube to get some of the latest that already passed. And you can get the link for the Zoom link that's happening. I think we're at number 14 or 15 in terms of the next one. The next one, number 15, and since we've been doing the Zoom links. Yeah.
Okay.
So just tune into YouTube for that. Yeah.
So what's the YouTube channel called? Garvey Village?
It's Garvey Village, yes.
Okay,
Zoom,
so that's after
Zoom
Marcus
meeting.
Uzziah Garvey and
Yes.
the Garvey Village. Okay, so Brother Wadada, thank you, Brother Clyde. That was beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative to you, and much gratitude for your coming on. So, Brother Wadada, your final words, your final thoughts?
Yeah, it was beautiful. Glad I came on, and not really used to doing things like this still, but you know, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Thank you.
Just got to keep on showing the love still. I would say something. I would say this about the pandemic. The lockdown has been kind of transforming in a sense, because when you go on the street and you see people, they're with smiles, they're smiling, and everybody's acknowledging one another. So even though it has been negative in the sense of people have lost their lives, but people are beginning to realize who the government really is. So it's a two-sided thing, as the brother was saying anyway. It's two-sided, definitely.
Thank you, Wadada. Do you want to give any information about where people can see you play or look at your work? Book you for shows as a jazz saxophonist. Yes.
Well, they just got to hit me up on if I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Wadada Stanbury on Instagram. On Facebook as well. Yeah, that's about it, you know.
Okay. And Alfred, our wonderful host, Alfred Weber, your final words?
Well, I really want to thank everyone for participating in this and bringing this energy forward and this consciousness to our audience. And I think it's a transformation that we're engaged in, a very positive one. So thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your solutions, you know, in terms of things that we need to change. We do need to change those things. I think monarchy is way outdated. We don't need those things anymore, you know, and also we have our own bloodlines and things that we want to be able to acknowledge and respect and honor. We have our own forms of worship. We want to stick to some of our traditions. So there is a lot of changes. Really, I think they need to pay us what they owe us and stay out of our business. That's what I would say. So on that note, I would say love to my sister Sophia, who's not here for the last part. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your great work. And everybody, if you want to go on, I think her website, we'll put a link in the description where you can get to her website to purchase her books. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you on the next conference. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Bye.